When last we left off from the adventures of Mainframe, Dot's hope of freeing a sector under Megabyte's control fell apart. The PIDs of the binomes were stolen thanks to the treachery of Cyrus, and Bob and Dot have been trapped in the funhouse, one of the most dangerous games in existence, that even Bob is afraid of. Let's find out what happens next. Oh, and if you're bothered by clowns, this might not be the episode for you.
Listen, Dot. You've just got to forget about what happened. We're in serious trouble here and I need your help.
Maybe you'd be better off without my help.
Look out! The user!
Identity Crisis Part 2 was written by Jono Howard, with story by Gavin Blair, Phil Mitchell, and Ian Pearson. The main cast includes Michael Benier as Bob, Kathleen Barr as Dot, Tony J as Megabyte, Phil Hayes as Hack, Gary Chalk as Slash and Cyrus, Michael Donovan as Phong, and Jesse Moss as alternate Enzo. Our story begins, as you have seen, in a surrealistic carnival ground, as Bob and Dot reboot as clowns and must enter the twisted game that is the funhouse. Bob, clearly distressed, ramps it up to high gear, but Dot is beside herself in defeat, her failure sucking the vigour out of her. Bob has to literally drag her into the tent. Well, actually a giant ton spews out and grabs them. Meanwhile, at the tour, Megabyte's cronies are continuing to decipher Dot's encryption key. Anyways, Bob and Dot continue through a few rooms before coming to a chamber with many doors. Bob explains only one leads to the next level, and the rest... And he doesn't get to finish because as Bob chooses a door, ropes leap out and bind him at the wrists and ankles, and drag him away into the inky blackness. Wow, what a tone shift. As Dot laments her fate, something unexpected happens.
Phong? What are you doing here?
I want to show you something.
Phong? Phong?
Phong?
Game over. User wins. Game over.
User wins. Game over.
Whoa, what a spooky moment. Also, what? Fawn can enter game cubes? After they land? That's a pretty neat power. It's already been established that once a game lands, it's locked. No one enters or leaves. But Fawn very clearly enters the game after the fact, because we see him in one scene watching Bob and Dot in the game before he decides to enter. Why is he able to do this? How is he able to do this? We never get an answer. Anyways, in the next scene, we see the sector Dot was in has been nullified and been turned into a crater, but somehow Dot is okay. As she wanders in a random direction, she notices things around her have taken a turn for the worse. She finds herself at a checkpoint controlled by virals, identical to the one she saw in her twisted vision in the previous episode.
What the... Frisket? Frisket! What's going on here?
Look! She doesn't have the mark. I thought this was a secured sector.
A stream of various binomes are being led around, directed by Megabyte's viral army, all bearing ominous barcodes. The parallel to Nazi ghettos was not lost on me. Soon, an aerial drone spots Dot and gives chase, and Dot immediately books it and escapes around a corner. Confused and frightened, she continues on to what was once her diner, now called Nibbles. She enters nonetheless, and finds a group of ragtag binomes running around. They stop and stare at her as she enters, and sits in a booth, an image of Megabyte clearly visible outside the window. A robot resembling Cecil, but clearly not Cecil, comes over and asks her for an order. But Dot, bewildered, asks where Cecil is, and what's going on here. Responding to various comments, the robot informs her that Cecil was scrapped, and that mainframe no longer exists. It is now Megaframe. Everything belongs to Megabyte. Then another sprite enters, and Dot can't believe her eyes.
Enzo?
Who wants to know?
It's your sister, Dot.
Listen, baby, I don't know what you're trying to pull, but my sister's gone. Blew it in a GameCube. Got everybody nullified.
But wait! It is me, Enzo. You've got to believe me.
Buzz off, dame. I can tell you're nothing but trouble.
This old and jaded Enzo has no interest in believing Dot's story, and instead accuses her of being a convict, since she has no barcode. She asks where she can find Bob, which causes everyone to laugh. Enzo tells her Bob and Phong live on level 31. Then he tosses her out, physically, and tells her to stay away. Hurt by the actions of her brother, Dot begins to head to level 31. Along the way, Megabyte appears in a vid window, and everyone around Dot stops and basically worships him. Perturbed and distressed, she tracks down Phong, who turns out to be living in a cardboard box. He looks ratty, and has gone completely senile. Dot asks to see Bob.
Bad Bob, Bad Bob. No one believes me, but truly, Bob here used to be a great guardian. Ah, he was something back then. But those times are gone. Cute little fellow, no?
No, that's not Bob. It can't be. Oh, what have I done? I lost the game and I destroyed mainframe. I didn't even try. If only I could have another chance.
Chance has nothing to do with it, child. The future is not determined by a throw of the dice. It is determined by the conscious decisions of you and me.
Dot does a double take at Fawn's sudden words of wisdom, but the moment is interrupted by the return of that aerial security drone from earlier. It and several viral binomes chase Dot down an alleyway. They mention contacting Lieutenant Cyrus. Now, Dot knows who betrayed the citizens to Megabyte. She gets cornered, and a vid window of Cyrus appears and amidst the virals, assuring Dot that they only want to help her, and then laughs maniacally. Not the most assuring action one can take, let me tell you.
No! What the? I'm back in the game.
Go, my child. You still have time.
Snapped out of her pity party, thanks to Fawn's funky device, she steels herself to finish the game. She selects the correct door, somehow, and proceeds to beat the user. There's a tricycle race down a bowling alley, followed by the final event, an arcade game involving filling a tube using a water gun. Now I understand why this game was so feared. It's clearly a primary school game, and is thus meant to be really easy. Dot uses some ingenuity and quick thinking to take out the freaky clown user and finish the game. As the GameCube leaves, Bob reappears and congratulates Dot on beating the funhouse. He notices Fawn as well, and Fawn continues to address Dot. He explains that he placed on her an RDE, or Reality Distortion Engine, which reveals visions to the person it is applied to, but it messes with the perception of reality before, during, and after it is applied. That is why Dot was hallucinating earlier. She was feeling the effects before they even happened. That's crazy. They could make a Star Trek episode about that or something. I'm so sad we don't get to learn more about this incredible device.
I felt that such action was necessary, given the circumstances.
I think you were right.
All right, you guys, what's going on? On second thought, never mind. All that matters right now is that we get that PID file back. Is it too late?
It seems to me you still have some time.
He's right, Bob. Look! The border is still under guard. The binomes haven't been converted yet.
But why? What's taking him so long?
Of course! How basic of me! I've spent so much time feeling sorry for myself, I forgot. Every file entered into my organizer is encrypted. Maybe Megabyte hasn't broken the code yet.
Let's go.
Bob and Dot, using their hijacked carrier, proceed to put a wrench in Megabyte's plans. They head to the compound where the binomes are being gathered for conversion. Bob, over an intercom, pretends to be one of Megabyte's lackeys, and a bunch of binomes get loaded on, and Dot zips away before other virals can board the transport. Bob and Dot reveal themselves to the very scared binomes and the binomes' chair. Dot apologizes to them very sincerely, and the binomes acknowledge that it wasn't her fault, and that she did everything she could do to help them. With the guilt lifted from Dot's shoulders, and the kind words of these folk, she starts returning to normal, as Bob suggested they go and crash Megabyte's party. They arrive outside the tour, and Dot re-downloads the PIDs just before Air Doctor is able to finish cracking the codes. Dot then sends a message to Megabyte.
Wait! Something is happening!
Turn around.
Attention, inhabitants of Silicon Tor. Your struggle for dominance is now over. I would like to take this opportunity to personally thank my dear friend Cyrus for helping me out with such a cunning and insightful plan. And as for the rest of you, who cares?
Hack, Slash, take him to the PID extraction chamber. I need a new shoeshine droid.
With Cyrus punished, Dot's conscience cleared, and the citizens of the sector registered with the principal office and safe from Megabyte's conversion, our duo takes in their victory, and Dot smiles as she looks at her reflection. Barcode free. And that is the end of the first season of Reboot. Quite something, eh? And like I mentioned in part 1, you can see the growth the series has taken, not only in the overall quality of the narrative, but also in its maturity. And this two-parter sets up the overall tone you can expect as we dive into Season 2. And everything that the series has developed thus far, the tight dialogue, the clever wit and humour, and the creative game scenarios are all here in full force. And in my opinion, make it very exciting to know that there are 2 more seasons of Reboot yet to come. With a great premise, surreal and scary imagery, and a triumphant end of an era, I give this tale 3 out of 3 fedoras.